Hi guys! So today I am going to be doing a book companion novel review thing on Between the Lines and Off the Page by Jodi Picoult and her daughter Samantha Van Leer. I would like to address, yes, I have a cut on my lip and it won't go away and it's making me really sad. I'm really sorry. So, yeah. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, Off the Page by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer is the Booksplosion book of the month. If you don't know what Booksplosion is, I don't know where you've been on the BookTube community. It's a reading group created by BookTube's own Christine from Poem Bananas Books, Kat from Cattastic, and Jessie from Jessie the Reader. I will link their channels in the doobly-doo down below. They have a live show on this book June 2nd. They all have one book they choose to read a month, which is their Booksplosion book of the month. So you can, participate every single month with a different book. Their live show discussion will be up on our YouTube channel even after June 2nd, so you can always go and watch their thoughts on this book, which I really recommend reading. But, because it's a companion novel, you don't have to read Between the Lines first, but I would definitely recommend it, because I read Between the Lines and, Off the Page directly back to back, but this book, I like this book better than I liked Off the Page. Between the Lines is about a girl named Delilah who is obsessed with this fairy tale, and she's in love with the fictional boy in the first book. So Delilah's in love with Prince Oliver, who is the prince in her fairy tale. She one day tells him that she wishes he was real, and he figures out a way to communicate with her and tell her that he is real, and he is stuck in this fairy tale. Basically, when you close the book, all of the characters in the story have their own lives, and when you open the book, they're playing a role, and Prince Oliver doesn't want to be in his role anymore. He wants to be in her world, and Delilah is everything that he looks for in a girl. His love interest in the fairy tale is everything he doesn't look for in a girl. So, Between the Lines is actually the story of how Oliver and Delilah get Oliver out of the book. It's hilarious, and there's nothing that's devastating or anything like that, and it's just really funny, and it's a really fun experience to get to read, because it seems so hopeless, and then by the end they achieve it. And then Off the Page is about what happens after Oliver gets out of the book. I gave Between the Lines a 4 out of 5 and Off the Page a 3.5 out of 5, and you need to read these books. They're hilarious. It's literally like watching a Disney movie. It is so funny. So that's all I can really tell you guys that haven't seen it. So, bye to the non-spoilery people. We'll talk about it later. Just come back. We'll discuss it. Just read it first, because you don't want to be spoiled on this, because some serious stuff goes down. Okay, so let's address the first issue with this entire scenario. It's just the entire reveal of Edgar looking like Oliver and Jessamine basing Oliver off of her son. How do you know what your son's gonna look like when he's how would you have been able to predict exactly what your son looks like and drawn him in a fairy tale? That was so fairy tale-esque in its own, and I get that it's a fiction book, but she's supposed to be in the real world reading a fictional book, so I don't see how a mom would know what her kid looks like. I don't think my parents knew what I was gonna look like as a teenager. I am so sorry, by the way, for how that turned out. You just can't control your face. I was a little thrown off by that. I was like, how did she know what he would look like? And I don't think they're spot on. She would have been wrong. You can't, no. But then how easily Delilah was like, oh my gosh, Oliver! She couldn't, I don't know how to explain my frustration with the entire situation of, Delilah's obsession with Oliver and her mother's obsession with what she's reading. I don't know about you guys, but my mom doesn't walk in and, get on to me for, reading a book. And I talk to my books. Delilah's talking about going crazy. I talk to my characters, and they don't talk back. When I'm mad, I go off. This is what I look like when I'm mad at a book. Okay, you good for nothing, dirty, why? So how was this a thing? Why was this? Why? Okay, are you serious? Really? I get that I kind of screwed up, but why are you with it? He killed, oh my gosh, why are you doing this? Haru! I can't deal with this stupid, what are you doing with your life? You spent an entire book dedicating yourself to this relationship, and now another boy comes along, and you're just like, oh, you know what, maybe I'm in love with him. What? You've known the kid. Are you kidding? You couldn't be in love with, you don't get to choose who you're in love with. I literally go on rants to books. My mom walks in, she looks at me, looks at what I'm doing, just looks at me what I'm doing, and she doesn't care. She walks right back out of the room because she knows. She knows. She doesn't touch my books. She doesn't take my books. Doesn't read my books. My mom doesn't do anything with my books. They're my books. When Delilah's mom comes in and takes her book, I'm just like, what? She's reading a fairy tale. She's not doing drugs. I was just so baffled by her mom's problem with her reading a fairy tale. She's not watching the Kardashians. She's not, like, on 16 and Pride. What is, I don't understand her mom's damage about. The next thing I want to address. The characters in the book were more likable than the characters outside of the book. I cared more about Socks and his insecurity issues than I really even did about anyone else. Aside from Delilah, everybody else was just, Edgar could have used so much more developing. Like, we did not get to, like, talk to Edgar much at all until off the page. And then off the page, he just seemed kind of like it's like you made a decision for yourself. You chose to be in the book, and now you're complaining about it. He's talking about missing his mom and all this kind of stuff, and I'm like, any normal, like, sane human being would have realized they were going to miss their mom when they agreed to go into a book where they would never see her again. I get where where his mindset was when he was saying that everything in the book is, like, a piece of his mom, but that's not your mom. You can't hug a piece of your mom. His entire thing with what's his name? Jules. That's her name. I'm sorry. See, I had to go back and look at what Delilah's best friend's name was because I could not remember. She was not that memorable. All I know is that she was like a punk rocker chick that didn't give a crap about anybody else or school until Edgar. Like, she says she cares about Edgar, but then she's like, well, what about Chris? Edgar has to leave. I had this perfectly viable option that's not gonna be stuck in a book, and yet I'm gonna go and read a fairy tale and, like, have my boyfriend be stuck in a fairy tale for the rest of my life. Even though this kid, like, dedicated his time to me and had me first. Like, she deserved Chris to be with Allie. Like, she deserved that. I did not understand why she even liked Edgar. Edgar, like, his character development was, like, a little off kilter, and he would go from being a snarky jerk to all of a sudden this random girl that he's known for, like, 2 days has him, like, completely changed. I don't think so. I don't think that's the thing. I don't think that you can know a girl for, like, 2 days and be stuck in a fairy tale where she's not even dressed like herself, and you're like, oh, I love this girl, and I'm gonna suddenly grow a heart. The kid didn't even care that he was leaving his mother, and all of a sudden now he's all, like, sensitive and brooding, and no. No way. So, that was a problem. Also, I just think that it's really, really funny that all throughout this book, they're trying to figure out ways that they can get Oliver from his book to the real world. And then, and off the page, everybody's switching places. They call themselves out. How come it was so freaking hard to get Oliver out of the book in the first place, and now everybody's switching places? And they talk about the wishes and how much what they're actually worth and all this kind of stuff. But either way, I think that was just as hard as Oliver and Delilah were trying. Something would have happened sooner if it was that easy. Now that I've talked about the problems, let's talk about the stuff I love. Delilah and Oliver's relationship in the first book, in between the lines, is so cute and so sweet. And just the fact that he is so excited to see her and that she's so excited to open the book and talk to him, it made me happy. Because honestly, if Will Herondale or Jace Wayland or Kale or Dorian or anybody that I love in fictional books was waiting for me on the other side of a book, I'd be pretty dang, happy. This girl in your book that is your love interest has been written to be perfect, and you choose me over her. That I thought was so cute and so sweet, and I really, really liked the dynamic between the two of them when he was in the book. When he got out of the book and he was off the page, I was upset because of how they let things get in the way of their relationship. And I think if, the first thing that was in the way of your relationship was the fact that he was stuck in a book, that, you wouldn't have as much of a problem with the fact that he was acting and doesn't know anything about, realistic, problems and stuff like that. And he kisses a girl that he knows you don't like, but he like was acting and told to do it, you owe him the benefit of the doubt and to explain himself instead of jumping on him and then giving him the silent treatment for a week. We're stuck in a world that he's never been in before. He was acting for a class, but he was told to act in, and he kissed a girl because that's what he thought he had to do, and he was used to kissing girls that he didn't like because of Seraphima. I get that that was actually really realistic for how a teenage girl would act. Personally, I wouldn't do that because I'm not stupid. It's like a legitimate, he didn't understand what he was doing. He's not just a teenage boy that wanted to make out with some random chick. I hate the silent treatment personally. I think it is the stupidest like form of anger. I think that it could have been handled better then. The whole situation with Chris and Jules, I think that was just really awkward. I think that it was really awkward, but I liked that it was awkward. I liked that Chris was trying so hard, and it was so obvious that he cared. Now let's talk about the freaking kiss between Delilah and Edgar. Ticked me off so much. What are you doing? I was reading it and I was like, what are you doing with your life? Like, why are you doing that? Edgar just plants one on Delilah. They're standing there and Chris is helping Jules like go to like putt or whatever, and Jules is purposely like staring at Edgar. And Edgar just plants one on Delilah. He's just like, you know what? Have I told you how beautiful you are? And she's like, what are you doing? And he just like, bam, kisses her. And she's like, don't ever do that again. And he's like, I thought you wanted me to act like your boyfriend. You what, boyfriend? I be your boyfriend. She's just like, that was not for me. That was for Jules, and you know it. Seraphima just doesn't think. She doesn't do things rationally. She doesn't think about anything that she does, and I think that's my main problem with Seraphima is like she doesn't start thinking until she gets into the book. And you know, her and Edgar are probably gonna have a thing. Like, it's most likely gonna happen. Her and Edgar are gonna have a thing. But it just, I don't know. It was, when Front died, it was definitely hard to deal with. Like, cause I just kept waiting for him to like, I don't know, trade places and like come alive in the book. But he was already dead and he was already gone. But that's why I'm really happy that when Jessamine, because I like if you guys saw Christine's review of this book, like she said, I saw the Jessamine thing coming, so I was like mentally prepared for it. But when they saved her, I wasn't preparing for that. Like I thought we were gonna lose her, and so when they took her to the book and she was okay, and Maureen switched out with her, I was so happy. I was like, that was probably the most beautiful ending that they could have thought of in a book ever. I think that was one of the most beautiful things I've read in a book. I think that in general these books were a really good mix of like YA fiction and like a children's fairy tale. And I think that the idea itself is really funny. There's actually a funny story behind this whole idea of a fictional character falling in love with a reader. Is something that me and my friend James were discussing in class one day. He was like, he knows that I'm a writer, and he tapped my shoulder in class, and I turned around and I was like, what's up? And I was reading Game of Thrones because James is a really big fan of them, and he was like, you need to read this book. And I was like, well, I actually just bought it, so sure. And he was like, hey, have you read a book where like the reader falls in love with the character in the book and he loves her back? And I'm like, no, I didn't even know that was a thing. No, he's like, you need to write that. That would be really, really good. And I kid you not, a month later, right after we've graduated, I hear about this book, and I message him on Instagram, and I'm like, this is what this book is about. And he goes, it's been done! Yes, it has. It's been done. And now I can say that it was done really, really well, and I really like the characters. I like the storyline, and even though I did have a lot of those problems and stuff, those are personal problems, and they don't take away from the book, which is really, really beautiful. And like I said, the ending makes it worth everything. What were your thoughts on it? What did you think? Did you think that the characters needed more developing? Were you okay with Edgar's transition from like brooding jerk to somebody that's in love with somebody? And just tell me your opinion. Tell me what you think. I have a video coming, either it's coming up or it is up. I'm not sure which one I'm going to upload first, of my July TBR. What book would you, in my June wrap up. So whichever book that you would like me to review, just let me know, and I'll film one for you. I love you guys. Thanks. Bye.